It looks like Colin's ready to go. Colin Thompson, former NFL tight end. We're going to get him set up here. SiriusXM NFL radio host. He is the founder of Not For Long Media. You can find Colin on Twitter at Colin Thompson TU. Of course, the Gators, Temple, AAF, XFL, NFL, and now here on Sharp Money. Hi, Colin. How are you, buddy?
Doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, thank you for joining. We were just talking about the Giants. So walk us through what it feels like to be in a locker room. I don't know if you have been, where all of a sudden you're midway through the year and the season's lost. Tommy DeVito going to be starting. We're not crushing DeVito here, but they're headed to Dallas, and Dallas is laying 17 points. Take me inside that Giants locker room right now.
Well, I have been in those locker rooms, sadly, with the Carolina Panthers the last few years. Last year the sky was falling. Within 3 weeks, Christian McCaffrey got traded, Matt Rule got fired, and Baker Mayfield got cut. It's devastating. Every player is going to say it's a profession. You're going to go out there and do your job and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, your season's in limbo. And that's really tough. And that means people are going to get fired. Players are going to get fired. Coaches are going to get fired, whatever it may be. I'm not saying in particular the Giants, but usually when you're on a slide like that, the people that are in the room with you right now aren't going to be here next year, and you may be one of them. So that is a really hard pill to swallow. That's a tough pill to go home and talk to your wife about or your spouse about, too, about what's going on at work. So what's going on in their locker room? Guys are being ultimate professionals, trying to find ways to put their best foot forward, put a win down on the table. But it's really tough. It's really tough professionally. And like I said, in Carolina, really all 3 years I was there, we didn't really have a ton of hope other than maybe that first year.
Colin, you mentioned you were there in Carolina. Steve Wilks takes over for Matt Rule in week number 6 last year. Take us through what the disposition of the players and the team is like when you have a coaching change, because we saw a huge infusion of energy with the Raiders. Is that sustainable with Antonio Pierce moving forward?
Good question.
That's a great question. In Carolina, there was a lot of players that were, of course, like you're your coach. The guy brought you in. He signed you. Like, he believed in you. And when he gets fired, like a piece of you gets fired with him. At least that's how I felt. And a lot of it said in Carolina. But when Coach Wilks came in, there was a certain jolt to it, right? You almost come in and you take an opposite approach of Coach Rule. Antonio Pierce seems like he's taking an opposite approach of what was there in Oakland before. So it's a fresh start. It's a turn of the page, and you're playing for a new opportunity in front of you. What's that opportunity? String some wins together, and then play for yourself in a way, because if you do well, you're getting paid next year and things like that. So there's always something to play for in the league. We don't play for free, but there's an emotional side of it too, where, you play for a losing team. That's no fun.
Colin, let's talk about your Panthers and tomorrow night, Thursday night. Maybe you can kind of give us an insight into how brutal Thursday nights are for a player, that quick turnaround. Carolina's at Chicago. Fields looks like he's going to be ruled out, and Chicago's favored by 3.5 here. Walk us through the Panthers-Bears matchup here.
Yeah, Thursday night, that's a tough one. If you play a big game, say Sunday, and you wake up feeling like you get hit by a Mack truck on Monday morning, like these offensive linemen, defensive linemen that are playing really high volume, high speed reps all the time, to get your body back to normal, you're looking at Thursday or Friday. Well, you're already playing a game Thursday night on the road. That's tough for Carolina. Now you have the mini bye week, which is great. And players are going to try to go into that mini bye week, I can guarantee you, with a win. So you're going to get Carolina's best effort, because there's no better thing than a weekend off and a win to go with it. So we'll see. I mean, listen, the quarterbacks in these games, right? We don't know who's healthy, who's not healthy. Bryce Young. People are talking about C.J. Stroud and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but he's a great quarterback. Time will tell. It's the quarterback position in the NFL. It's the hardest thing to do on the planet. So it'll be okay. That Carolina roster's got a lot of talented players on it. The Bears do too. There's a couple different guys to watch. If you're looking for something in Carolina, watch Frankie Louvu on defense, 49 for Carolina. Probably the best player in the league that nobody knows about. The Sweat trade of him going over to Chicago is another thing to watch too.
Colin, you played an interesting position at tight end. You have to be part of the offensive line in terms of run blocking and even times pass protection, and then in terms of catching the ball. Take me through how difficult that position is to be learning very quickly. And then when you get a situation like Josh Dobbs, guy comes in middle of the week, doesn't know the playbook, doesn't even know teammates' names to be able to do what he did in Atlanta on Sunday. Just the magnitude of it, because you just mentioned a second ago, quarterback, and rightfully so, is the hardest position in sports.
Yeah, I'll be brief about the tight end position. It's nowhere near the quarterback position. You are responsible for an entire huddle when you're a quarterback. Tight end, yes, there's constant disadvantage. That's how I explain it. You're going against guys that are bigger, stronger than faster than you. Defensive line position, you're trying to outrun players that are quicker than you in coverage, that are smaller than you in coverage, so you're constantly at a disadvantage. Quarterback, what people think of quarterback, times it by 100, and that's how hard it is. I can't imagine. I played in that offense in Minnesota this past training camp. It took me a full training camp to get comfortable in the offense, just in my little tight end world, which is the entire offense, but I'm not calling the play. I'm not coming up with the cadence. I'm not checking versus this coverage and that coverage. And what Josh Dobbs did, I said it on my show. I said it on the Sirius XM show last night, where there should be an award named after him. Because the Journeyman Award, Baker Mayfield should have got it last year. Like, to go from team to team and win at that clip, so impressive. And Minnesota was my team in the second half of the season. I stayed pat on that. They're a really good team, great coached, and Dobbs and whoever else at quarterback, they'll figure out to make it happen. Coach O'Connell's a great coach.
Colin, we just got a minute. We were just talking about Minnesota because it's a big price in division. They've won 4 straight. And O'Connell, tell us a little bit about the head coach. We don't know a ton about him in Minnesota.
Yeah, what an unbelievable person. Like, this is a guy who played quarterback in the NFL and has that mindset, right? And then he has this elite leadership, relatability, cool Southern California guy mindset. Tall, big presence. There's something about him, the reason why they're having success there in Minnesota. And then for them to overcome coaching staff-wise, losing players like Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins and still win football games with a quarterback that comes in on an early week. The place is unbelievable. It's a first-class organization, and Coach O'Connell has a lot to do with it.
Great answer. Colin Thompson, of course, a former tight end there. SiriusXM NFL radio host, doing a great job. Not for long media. We'll talk to you. Let's do it again in a couple of weeks here. At Colin Thompson TU on Twitter. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it.
Guys, have a great day. Enjoy some football.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.